Believe it or not, Assassin's Creed Mirage is now 9 months old. That's crazy. And with the game, a lot has changed. Bro, it's crazy. I remember the whole year building up to the release of Mirage. We had no gameplay. We were clamoring around for any type of leaked footage we could get. Those were the days, man. That was my first year on YouTube, like with this channel, and good times, good times. Obviously, at first, I didn't expect the game to be good at all. And then as we got to see more and more trailers, especially like with those 3 small condensed deep dives into Assassin's Creed being the world of Baghdad, the characters, the story, etc., I started getting quite excited, quite gassed up for Assassin's Creed Mirage. From what we saw in those trailers, it looked like it was gearing up to be a proper return to roots, as they said. The game came out and let's just say I didn't think the quality was on par. I ended up making a whole hour-long critique and analysis on Assassin's Creed Mirage when the game came out. And yeah, I wasn't too satisfied. I thought the world was good, the idea and concept for the story and characters were good, but I just didn't feel like the execution was where it was meant to be, or where it should have been. I thought the voice acting was pretty bad. The writing of the game itself was kind of bad. The parkour was trying to be something it couldn't be. Everything just, to me, felt a little bit lackluster. Like, oh my god, this is gonna be something great. Oh, and then it just ends. You know what I mean? It just felt like a rushed game that just kind of knew what it wanted to do, but just didn't have the skills to do it, maybe. That's how it felt to me when the game came out back in October 2023. As I said, it's 9 months later now, and as of recording, it is the 28th of July, 2024. So, with that said, I thought, why not take a blast from the past, take a trip back and see, actually, you know, was I wrong about Assassin's Creed Mirage, or do I still kind of agree? And the best way I think possible to do that is to take a wider look into the AC community. And today we're going to be reacting to a few videos on AC Mirage. Video number 1 is AC Mirage 6 months later by Master Assassin, and video number 2, Assassin's Creed Mirage Should You Play in 2024 by The Hidden One. So the idea is I'm going to, you know, watch through these videos, pause and sort of give my own thoughts, you know, to add onto it, and have kind of a general discussion about my thoughts on Mirage based off of what I'm reacting to. And yeah, it'll be a chill one. It'll be a chill one. Now, I'm gonna say this at the start of the video. I will have a lot to say, so I will be pausing quite frequently to sort of, you know, transform the reaction content into, you know, something new, something different. So with that said, if you're new to this channel and want to stay up to date with everything Assassin's Creed Mirage, Shadows, in general Assassin's Creed, then consider pressing the subscribe button to stay up to date. Also, after this video, feel free to check out my Assassin's Creed 2 retrospective, Should You Play in 2024. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty fun, informative, good vibes. Check it out if you want to. Moving on.
I want to talk about Mirage's reception because it was very peculiar, to say the least. I feel like in the mainstream, the reception was pretty mixed. A lot of the big review sites and channels out there were quite indifferent about this game, and I think to the more average casual player, Mirage really didn't do anything too special for them.
I do agree with that to an extent. However, you know, as a hardcore AC fan from the first game, again, I wasn't too impressed with it either. On the sort of general reception of things, people were, you know, not too pleased because, look, it didn't feel too modern. It felt kind of rushed, as I said, and it didn't do too much. It was kind of like, this feels like a 2010 game in the skin of a 2022 game or something, you know what I mean? There was no real depth to anything. It was kind of a bare bones experience on the general reception of things. Again, I see what Ubisoft were trying to go for. They were trying to, they deliberately did that. They were trying to really make it this simplistic game to try and capture the charm, the vibe of AC1. Did they do that? I don't think so. And again, leading into what Master Assassin says here, to the average player, it was kind of meh, but to the hardcore AC fan, it was something that was really great. And to most hardcore AC fans, it was. But again, to some of us, you know, me being a good example, I just don't think it was well written. I don't think it did what it was trying to do all that well. Again, that's just my opinion, and, you know, that's just how I feel about it. I am very open to, you know, giving it another go at some point in the future and saying, you know, was I wrong about AC Mirage? Because I was expecting it to really delve into that AC philosophy. What does it mean to be free? And are the Order of Ancients really the right ones, or are the Hidden Ones the right ones? And is there that flawed logic between them both? How blurred is the lines between good and evil? I was expecting to see a lot of that, and there were a few moments where it did delve into that, but I just don't think it did it as much as I thought it would, which let me down. But upon playing AC2 again after a few years, I've started to realize that even, any Assassin's Creed game kind of after Assassin's Creed 1 didn't delve into it as much as AC1 did. So I think with a more broader lens looking back in retrospect, when I play AC Mirage again at some point, I might think, you know what? It's a little bit better than I thought it was, but I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see.
But meanwhile, I felt the reception within the Assassin's Creed community itself was a lot more positive than in the mainstream. Of course, if you've watched me, you know I loved the game, I went very in depth on why I do, and the general feeling I got from the rest of the community and my subscribers was also quite positive.
Yeah, I think
we're all in agreement that
had polar opposite types of videos. He had, in every way, his was 2 hours, mine was 1 hour. He loved it. I was very, very critical on it. So yeah, it's interesting. Some people that are very similar in some ways. We both make Assassin's Creed videos. We both love Assassin's Creed, but can have two, polar opposite sort of views on the same game.
This isn't a perfect game by any means, but for a lot of us, it scratched an itch the series hasn't been able to scratch in at least 9, possibly 10 years. I know for myself personally, it was probably the most I had enjoyed an AC game since Unity. I do love Origins as well, but I felt Mirage was more the kind of Assassin's Creed game I enjoy. But yeah, I feel the reception was for the most part positive. I know some people may have been disappointed by it or dismissed it as another.
I will just say, actually, on that Valhalla point he made where, he liked Valhalla, but Mirage was more his type of AC game. See, I agree with that. I just think, personally, Valhalla was better written. Sure, it was completely bloated. It was, you take what could have been a good condensed story and you really stretch it out. And then as you stretch it, there's tears and, it doesn't really work as well as it could have. I do believe when Darby wrote AC Valhalla, he probably had like a 30-hour, maybe 40-hour story in mind. But obviously, the Ubisoft higher-ups, the big wigs are like, look, we need this big 100-hour plus experience, maybe 80 hours at the least, but around 100 hours experience. So you got to drag that out. And I think it just showed in the quality of things when you'd have these really, really well-written moments in Valhalla, such as the beginning of the game, that campfire scene with Basim. I love that scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in all of Assassin's Creed. It's just the acting is just amazing. The sort of doom and gloom chemistry between them at the time, like you can really feel that they're these two characters that have this deep connection. One doesn't even know it, and the other kind of has that memory from a whole past life. But again, you can feel that closeness, like they have known each other for thousands of years. But again, they also feel like strangers within that moment, learning more about each other. It's so well written, that moment. So you got moments like that, and the ending of the game I thought was really good. The whole going into the life tree, coming out, going in, that sort of chase after Basim. I think that was so good. But again, that's few and far between in, amidst a ton of bloat and filler and forgettable moments, such as the whole, Chilbert and all that whole saga. That shit, that's so boring, bro. I get that. I just think Valhalla was way better written than Mirage was.
Especially when you consider there likely won't ever be a DLC expansion.
Yeah,
obviously, that's something they said before the launch of the game, but there was a part of me that was hoping that would change if the game sold well enough, which it presumably did a lot better than Ubisoft even expected, yet it still doesn't seem like we'll be getting DLC, which...
Yeah, I mean, Mirage is not going to get a DLC for any of those that are wondering. To Master Assassin's point, there was hope, that it would when the game sold, pretty well. It was successful. Ubisoft even put out a statement saying, we're really pleased with how it sold. It exceeded expectations. That looks good to shareholders, investors, etc., etc. So you think, oh yeah, let's push out a DLC. The trajectory of that game was planned from the start. They probably knew it would do all right, but even then they still didn't plan for a DLC. So I think Ubisoft know that their resources were best put in AC Shadows and getting that out the door. So yeah, we didn't get a DLC for Mirage. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's quite a replayable game, AC Mirage. Whether you like the game or not, I think, it indeed it's got New Game Plus, so it indeed does have that replay value, and there is post-launch content, which we will get into.
And then obviously another great example of Bordeaux listening to the community were the changes they made to ejects in parkour. Jinto Haku made an eject mod not too long after Mirage came out that allowed you to gain height on back and side ejects, making them a lot more viable within the game's parkour system. I made a video specifically talking about that mod and hoping Ubisoft Bordeaux would actually implement these changes to ejects into an official update. And I said that thinking there was a slight chance they might, but not really expecting it, because it's rare to see Ubisoft studios implement community feedback like that, especially from a mod. And not only did Bordeaux do that, they improved it and implemented it into the New Game Plus update in December, which was a pretty quick turnaround as well.
Agreed. That was one thing I can commend on Bordeaux, the developer team in Ubisoft. They saw a mod that was pretty good, objectively better than what they had done. It took what they'd done in parkour and it said, all right, we're just gonna make it better. And it's nice to see that they don't have to have a big head, they don't have to get funny about it, that, oh, a mod has done something better than us. They saw it, they said, you know what, that is better, let's add it to the game. And I think, it's quality of life stuff like that gaming developers need to do. I can't believe I'm defending Ubisoft and sort of jumping on their side and putting them up at the moment, because, I think as a whole, Ubisoft as a big conglomerate is damaging to the gaming community. That's another video for another time. But, Bordeaux itself is just a team of developers and they want to make a good game, clearly. And, with the post-launch content, they are doing that. The quality of life patches, I think every game needs that, because there's always going to be bugs, or there's going to be something that people aren't too fond of. And if you can implement changes to make the game better, to make it a better experience for everybody, then you should do that. I think, look at Cyberpunk. Starfield are currently doing it. I know a lot of people don't like Starfield, but I'm telling you now, give it 1-2 years at the most, and it's going to be beloved. People are going to love it. Think about how many people hated Cyberpunk, and now it's beloved. Starfield are adding buggies to the game. They've already made really good quality of life changes. They've just added mods to console. And I do believe that, in a couple years, it's going to completely turn. It's going to do a 180, and people are going to love that. Again, that's just another example of what Ubisoft Bordeaux are doing right here by adding, upgraded parkour. Okay, the parkour still isn't that good, because the inherent system of the parkour that they've put in Mirage just isn't built for complete control. Back inside ejecting is still very, very difficult to pull off, and it's only within a certain set of scenarios with buildings in certain positions that you can do it. Look back at AC1 even to Revelations, really. You could back eject, side eject at your will whenever it felt right to do, and you just had that complete control. I've talked about it in depth in my AC2 video, so I'd recommend checking that one out.
At this point, I had already shared my faith in Ubisoft Bordeaux as a studio. I had really liked how they interacted with the community and implemented feedback prior to the game's launch, but this is what really made me be like, okay, yeah, I really like this team. They need to be way more involved in this series going forward.
Do you know what? I completely agree with Master Assassin. I just think they need a better writer. Now, no hate to Sarah Bulow. I'm pronouncing it wrong, so I do apologize. All right, this is what I really think she should do if she ever sees this, which I'm doubting she will. But she needs to sit down with Darby, the one, in my opinion, the best writer the Assassin's Creed series has. He needs to go down and break down with her what makes a good Assassin's Creed story. I think she's got that idea. I just think she needs to know how to execute it better. Pacing, he needs to talk about with her. The level at which you should, implement that philosophy of the Creed. I just think she needs a sort of masterclass with Darby McDevitt, and I think she could do something well. I just don't think the writing of Mirage was that good. And I really don't mean it in a judgmental or mean way. I just say it out of objective opinion, really. And I also say it in the hopes that, you know, someone can see this and think, okay, you know what, I will do better, and you know, their art will be better off for it. It's constructive criticism, that's all it is. And there's no animosity or hate towards the writer of Mirage or the developers or anything. I think they had a good time making it. I think they're probably very happy with what they've done, and I commend them for it for sure. That was Master Assassin's video. Now we're going to be moving on to the Hidden Ones video on AC Mirage, should you play in 2024. I will recommend checking out Master Assassin and Hidden Ones videos. I'll link the videos that I'm reacting to in the descriptions. Check them out because I didn't react to them all. There's a lot more juicy content in their videos to check out. So yeah, please do it. Give them the support that they deserve. With that said, the Hidden Ones Mirage video. Edit, we love a little edit, let's go.
With Assassin's Creed Shadows on the horizon, I thought it would be a pretty cool idea to focus on the current Assassin's Creed game, and that is Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now this is a game that really took me back to the days when this franchise did not have hundreds of hours of content, and the world was not so giant that you needed to travel on a ship to get from point A to point B. I'm not saying the newer style is bad, I love it, but this is a refreshing change and a clear nod to the pre-RPG era. When this game was in development, the phrase back to its roots was tossed around a lot. In fact, it was tossed around a bit too much, not just by the actual developers of the game, but also fans themselves. Mirage is a game created by Ubisoft Bordeaux, a studio not many people are familiar with. We're used to Ubisoft Montreal and Ubisoft Quebec. In fact, you gotta tip your hat to Ubisoft Bordeaux, because they developed Assassin's Creed Mirage with a significantly lower budget than any of the other studios that developed the bigger Assassin's Creed titles. After seeing and playing the RPG era Assassin's Creed games, a lot of people were pretty skeptical on how the size of Mirage's world would turn out. Would it be stupidly large or would it be quite small? Well, the answer is neither.
I thought it was going to be a pretty small small map. I thought, you know, you look at the open world cities in Valhalla, Odyssey, even Origins, or Origins have bigger cities, but Odyssey and Valhalla specifically, it made sense for the setting and time, but the cities were just very small, quite, I guess, lackluster in the context of Assassin's Creed. You know, it starts off, we're used to big cities to explore, to do parkour around. So in Valhalla and Odyssey, I was just like, this just ain't really it, is it? So with Mirage, I was a bit worried to how big or small the city was going to be, but I will say, it's very decently sized. You know, it's big. It's the size it should be. It's quite varied. It's a good vibe. It's a whole round city. We haven't had that in an Assassin's Creed game before. And, you know, learning about the history of Baghdad was really interesting to me.
If you are an OG fan and enjoy these smaller scale cities, then I believe you'd have a great time exploring and parkouring around the streets of Baghdad in this game. Also, if you're a fan of
100%,
Origins, then there are a few
agreed.
similarities with ancient Baghdad to ancient Egypt. And no, it's not just the desert itself. It's the color palette, the layout of buildings, the atmosphere. It's very reminiscent of some of the cities and towns in Origins. That could just be me though. Ubisoft Bordeaux have taken a much appreciated approach to removing the bloat from the map. Right. Something that's clearly present in games like Unity and mostly Odyssey. It's a change of pace to not encounter an enemy camp or an enemy fortress every few meters when moving around, which was something that was quite prevalent in the past 3 games.
I would say though, in Baghdad, the world of Mirage, you still do have those enemy camps, bandit camps, you know. Sure, they're not as prevalent as they were in Odyssey and Valhalla. It's a lot more condensed, I suppose you could say. You know, but they are still there. That similar gameplay loop kind of still shows up. Small enemy bandit camps, get in there, kill them all, take the loot and leave. It's not really my thing within the context of Assassin's Creed, you know? Again, the Assassin's Creed series has changed so much over the years that, okay, of course, things are bound to change, to evolve, and it's up to interpretation, whether it's evolved or devolved. It's just, there's certain things in the series that, you know, I don't vibe with. And there's certain things that I do, very much do. So it's a matter of interpretation.
Abbasia, the cultural hub, which is full of scholars, scientists and philosophers. Then there's Kark, which is the market district. This certain district is the busiest and also the most densely populated district and is essentially the industrial center full of NPCs and market stalls. Then there's the Harbia district, which is a more downtrodden area where the less fortunate such as slaves, orphans and those with limited means barely get by.
I would say that pretty much every Assassin's Creed game, including Mirage, sort of suffers from having different districts, but those districts not feeling too different to the point where you could enter a new district and you wouldn't even really know you've done it if they didn't have a title thing come up on screen saying, Harbia district. If you think about Assassin's Creed Revelations, that technically has different districts, but the whole city itself kind of looks so similar that you don't really realize you've entered a new district. I think with Mirage, it's obvious when you do enter a new district, because if I can remember correctly, the name of the district will come up on screen. Also, if you go on your world map, you've got big text saying Kark, Round City, Harbia, da 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 da. So, it's letting you know where you are. I think if it didn't have that, you would be kind of hard pressed to know whether, Harbia or Kark was the same district or not. That being said though, if Ubisoft were to change each district so dramatically that it feels like a whole new place, that might feel disjointed and just not really feel like the same city, to the point where it feels like they've stitched all these different places together. So, it's that balance, I suppose.
When it comes to the story of Assassin's Creed Mirage, I'll go over it without spoiling anything. So essentially you play as Basim ibn Ishaq, a character that has a very mysterious past and an important role in the Assassin's Creed universe. We get to witness Basim's transformation from a street thief to a master assassin. The story pretty much dives into his personal struggles and also his journey for answers about his past. We'll become an assassin and essentially attempt to free 9th century Baghdad by eliminating a hierarchy of progressively more evil enemies, all in the middle of some pretty important political turmoil. It's got the typical Order of Ancients / Templar stuff. This is pretty much the plot of most Assassin's Creed games. If I'm being honest, the story is not anything to write home about. It's not a story that I'll remember in 10 years time. The same way I'll remember the entirety of Ezio's story from his trilogy, or even Edward Kenway's. If anything, it's far from those stories. It was a tale that did its job. Choosing Basim as a protagonist is a bit of a tricky one, especially when trying to write a story. Basim showed up as a pretty important character in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the fact that this game kind of serves as a sequel or a prequel, depending on how you look at it, meant it had to stand on its own. I won't say anything about Assassin's Creed Valhalla's story as I would spoil it, but Basim as a character is a pretty decent one. Would I want to follow up for his character? Absolutely not. He's a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 character, but that's purely my opinion.
You know what? It is Hidden One's opinion, and I agree with that opinion. He was so well written in Valhalla when we got to this, origin story of Basim, and it just wasn't written anywhere near as well. I think kind of devalues the character that we saw in Valhalla a little bit more. Like the Hidden One said, the story tropes, the whole idea, the whole themes of everything are purely Assassin's Creed. That is what we're used to. It's a return to roots. I just don't think the execution was all that good. I definitely found that the intro of the game and the outro felt really strong. The rest of the game just felt like a bit of filler just to get to the outro again. It just felt that way to me. And again, like the Hidden One said, it's nothing to write home about, but it does the job. You play Assassin's Creed, you be an assassin, and you're done, you move on. And it does that job within the context of Assassin's Creed. It knows what it's doing. It just doesn't know how to do that as well as it could do that, and as well as, a 17-year-old Assassin's Creed game did that. Okay, so that's all the reacting I'm gonna do to different Assassin's Creed videos. Thank you to the Hidden One and to Master Assassin for making these videos. Again, there's a lot more content within these videos that I didn't react to, so if you want to check the full things out, the links are in the description. Now, I want to just talk about Mirage again in my own thoughts, but just sort of reflect. 9 months later, Assassin's Creed Mirage is what it is. It's fine. It's fine. If you love it, then keep playing, keep replaying it, have a good time. Not that I really do this, but I'm sure if you're somebody who likes to chase the platinum trophy, all of the achievements, then Assassin's Creed Mirage is probably quite a fun game to do that for. There's a lot of achievements, and as you replay the game, you can sort of go through and pick them up. And I think that would be pretty fun for the format of Assassin's Creed. The format of this game and the way it's made kind of feels like a 2010 or a pre-2010 game. And those were the days of achievement hunting. Those were the days of getting that platinum. I feel like those were the prime days of doing that. So I guess, playing a game like this, it's gonna take you back if you're that achievement hunter. On another note, if you're a very, very busy person like myself and you don't have as much time to play, massive 100-hour games as you used to, then a more condensed the 25 to 30 hour game is going to be perfect. And if you like Assassin's Creed a lot, then yeah, this is going to be for you. This is going to be what you want to play. I think if I wasn't, you know, an Assassin's Creed YouTuber where I've got to critique the games and analyze them and be as objective as I can, I probably would have liked Mirage more. But again, I have to look at it on that sort of critical lens because I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't do that. For me, as I said, it just didn't really execute the concept as well as it could have. That being said, it's far from the worst Assassin's Creed game. Far from the worst. I think, although, you know, games like Syndicate had a much bigger budget, the acting was better, the world was, I suppose, a little bit more engaging. I think Syndicate was probably one of the worst written Assassin's Creed games. It just kind of took everything about what Assassin's Creed is and just said, nah, let's just disregard that. So again, there are worse games than Mirage for sure. If I were to, not that I'm doing a ranking right now, but if I were to sort of place Mirage in amazing Assassin's Creed games to worst Assassin's Creed games, maybe somewhere in the middle, you know, maybe somewhere in the middle. It's kind of just, it does its thing and it gets out. You know, if you like Mirage, keep playing it. Now, before we go today, I just want to react to the little comedy skit I did at the beginning of my own Assassin's Creed Mirage critique and analysis. If you haven't seen it already and you really want to go in depth of what was good, what was bad about Mirage, I cover literally every aspect of the game in a full 1 hour video. Check it out if you haven't already, but let's react to the beginning of the video. I think you'll have a laugh. So yeah, funny thing as this plays, I was on holiday in Tenerife and I just filmed with my cousin this just funny little intro to the game, so to the video. There I am. I'm meant to be an assassin with the whole headscarf, the sword on my back that just fell off, but it's actually a spade, and now it's back. That's me doing parkour, by the way. There you go, mate, there you go. I'm doing the viewpoint. The people led on the beach. To be fair, this video was a massive undertaking. It was like the longest video I've ever done, and I think it turned out really, really well. That's a cookie. I didn't have anything else, but it was meant to be a piece of Eden. There you go. What do you guys think? If you want to check that out, feel free. I'll leave it as an end screen, as well as my video on Assassin's Creed 2. They'll be on the end screen, and there's probably a card that'll come on screen now. Well, there you have it. Assassin's Creed Mirage 9 months later. Of course, those videos were done less than 9 months ago, but as of this point in time, being 9 months later, I feel like they kind of still hold up. The idea is still kind of the same. It's a game. It's okay. If you like it, play it. If you don't like it, don't play it. Post-launch content is quite respectable for Ubisoft Bordeaux to have implemented, and Assassin's Creed Mirage is far from the worst Assassin's Creed game, but also kind of far from the best. What do you guys think though? Did you play Mirage? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Let me know in the comments and we will build that AC community. If you enjoyed this video, you can press the like button to let me know you did, and if you want to see more just like this, consider pressing the subscribe button. Also, you can become a channel member today by clicking that join button next to the subscribe button on desktop or on Android. iPhone don't let you do it for some reason. It's kind of dumb. It's $5 a month and you'll be supporting me and any big video project I work on, such as the AC2 retrospective, the Assassin's Creed Mirage Ultimate Critique. Any videos like that will come to you guys 1 week early. Other than that, you can follow my Twitter and Instagram. The links to those are in the description, as well as the videos I reacted to today. I love you guys. May the Father of Understanding guide us. I will see you soon. Have a lovely day. Like you, I see you right there. You're probably like eating some pizza or something. Yeah, I see you. I love you. Have a great day. See you guys soon. And yes.
My dick, get on my